All right, welcome everyone to today's live trading room, and we got an exciting session here today. How are you doing, Alex?
Doing well, mate. Doing well. It's been an interesting couple of days. It's been actually quite a hard week trading. I lost about a percent on today. I'm back in a trade at the moment because it hit my stop loss, and then I've got back in as well once I saw what was price going back my way. But we'll talk about that in a bit. But it's been quite difficult. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, definitely. January began very good for me, and then the last 2 weeks has been quite messy. I would like to ask all of you, how's the sound quality? Let me know if the sound is good, the video and the audio quality, and also one. Uh, Alex audio is low. Maybe we can increase that.
I'll
Let me know
sort
if
that
my
out.
audio is
Let's
good or not.
go.
So yeah, one thing we wanted to mention here today. So this week we've obviously started with a new experiment here with the giveaways every live stream. Now this is we're insanely grateful for all the feedback. Like the feedback has been very positive. But we also want to mention one thing. We're going to continue with these giveaways, but we want to make sure that we stay true to the quality that the Fivers is known for. So we want to make sure that these live streams, the educational content, is going to be at the core of everything we do here in these live streams, because we want to make sure that the content that we deliver here for you guys in the trading room is designed to help you become better traders. So we have people now working in the background to collect the best comments, to collect all your questions. So we've been having some feedback, people saying that there's a lot of spamming in the comments, and we do understand that. We totally get that. And so we have people working on figuring out, selecting the best comments, and then we will make sure to go through all the best comments here. So if you do have any questions on anything that we're talking about here, just let us know in the comments, and we'll make sure to get to your question and figure all of that out. So yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna
So
continue with the
I'll
giveaway.
just add to that. Obviously, everybody's putting 250k in the comments. I haven't even said what you have to put in the comments to enter in. So you're putting
Yeah,
250k
gotta
for
take it easy, guys. Take it easy.
literally no reason at the moment because we're not even. I haven't even got the giveaway tool up yet, and we haven't even entered anything. So 250k is not going to do anything at the moment. But yeah, I just want to back that up and say we love doing the giveaways, but again, this is about education and it's all about bringing people in the community to help the different community and you know entertaining. The giveaway is not the main priority here. The main priority is entertaining and giving good content. But we're still going to do it, and I'm going to make sure I'm going to be here in the background, as Jonathan said, to make sure that all of the questions that are about trading and are relevant, they're going to get out. So keep all your questions. I'm going to star everything. So make sure all of the questions towards the end we're going to go through after we get through all like the TA, go through all of our trades, and we'll start going through all of those different questions.
Yeah, for sure.
So brilliant. Let's go. Let's start it.
Yeah, so we also have the Fed interest rate decision coming up, and so that's now obviously we have that coming up later today. But I want to mention one thing, one strategy I like to use with the interest rate decision and then with the press conference afterwards. So usually what I do is, and this is something you could try out maybe tonight if you're active during the interest rate decision. So what I like to do is let's say you have a market that kind of moves like this, right? It's in this range, and then at the time of the interest rate decision, you have a bounce maybe up to that resistance, and at the point of price hitting that resistance, you have the press conference starting. So 30 minutes later, you have the press conference starting. And what I've seen a lot of times is price likes to retrace the initial move during the press conference. So the Fed interest rate decision, you maybe have a pump, and then you want to look for signals to fade that as soon as the press conference starts. Very simple, and you can go back and you select any pair, preferably the ones including USD, but we all know that most of the forex pair will move quite dramatically during those events. So you can go back and you can look at the dates of when the Fed interest rate decisions have happened in the past. Look at price action. It's very easy to confirm this strategy if it's working or not. And you got some hours after the live stream. Go through the price data, see how it works, and let me know next week in the Monday's live trading session if what that trade is, how that worked out. Let me break down GBP AUD here. By the way, Alex, if you do have any questions, just pop them up on the screen, and whenever I have
I'll
time,
do that. I just want to make sure, reiterate what we said earlier. 250k is not going to get into the, because that's not the word for the entry to get into the giveaway. So what we're going to do, we're going to do something different for everybody that's here. Somewhere in the stream, I'm going to just put the word out of how you're going to get into the giveaway, and then you would have to comment that. At the moment, the 250k is not going to work because that's not what I'm going to use. But I'm starring all of the questions, so keep putting all of those out there. After Jonathan is done with his TA, then we'll go through some of the questions. And we've already got like 8 good questions, so keep them coming. And we'll let you know what's going to happen with the giveaway. But definitely keep up with the like button, because that's going to make sure how many giveaways we actually give. So every 250k, we're going to give a 250k bootcamp.
Yeah, the like button is the important thing here. You don't have to comment 250k. All you have to do is just press that like button, because the giveaways are going to be based on how many likes we get. So
Exactly.
hit the like button, and then we'll have more information on the giveaway later in the stream. Right. So let me break down GBP AUD here. As you can see right now, I'm in long on GBP AUD, and also I've decided to cut my risk in half across all trading, because last 2 weeks has not been a very good trading trading condition for me. I've given back most of the profits I made in the beginning of January, which is always it's not fun. But so what I do is I've taken a step back. I decided to cut my risk in half, and then just focus on trading less. I think trading less is a very good. Actually, I think trading less is a good way of making more money in trading. It might sound weird, but I do think overtrading is one of the biggest problems in trading. Let me break this down. So the moving averages I use here, and there's one reason why I have all these previous setups on here on the chart, is because when I do my journaling, I want to have all the previous setups on, so I can just quickly go back and see what trades I've taken. So here is a very, very simple trade on GBP AUD. This is, I guess it's not really a swing trade, but it's also not a day trade, because it's somewhere in between, because I might hold this till tomorrow. Of course, now with the US, with the interest rate decision coming up, we're probably going to see this hit either stop loss or TP today, because there's going to be a lot of volatility. But yeah, the setup is very simple. So we can break it down like this. Let's see if this comes up on screen. Yeah, perfect. So we look at first we look at market structure, and what I'm interested in is this part of the chart. So if you've seen the video I released, I believe last Friday, I released a video on the YouTube channel. Definitely go check that one out, where I break down market structure analysis and how we look at trends. So here we have, obviously this is on the 1 hour, and if we go lower to like the 15-minute, I'm pretty sure we're going to see a trend that kind of looks like this. And you also see that you have the 2 lower lows here, you got the lower highs, and here you have a higher low and the higher high, and that bounce right there kind of created the big move. Now, what I like here is you have this bottom formation. It's not a double bottom or W, but it's the same type of structure, where you have a break of market structure, where you have the downtrend, and then you break above, and you bounce here, and then you have that strong move to the upside. And what happens here is you actually come down on that move here, you test this major breakout level. It's a pretty solid horizontal level. You come down and test that one. What I do here when you have that big move to the upside is I put the fibs on the most recent move. And in this example, I'm actually using those highs and not that one. And I know a lot of people, most people, when they add the fib, it's very important that they use the very extremes. I remember we had Gary on yesterday, and he was clear that he always looks at the very extreme of the move. So he would have had the fib up on that wick. But what I like to do is I like to go into the lower time frames and look at that move. And if it's like if this would have been a wick, just a wick on the 50 minutes or something like that, then absolutely I would just ignore that move. And there's another thing I take into consideration as well is the high that I'm selecting is going to be the high that lines up best with the horizontal levels. Now, this is not the best example, but I just thought that this high just made more sense for the fib placement. Now, again, not the best example, but that's how I did it on this setup. So now you see we're forming this uptrend. So we broke this downtrend. We have a bottom formation, strong move to the upside, came down, and this is the important part. Price came down and hit the midpoint of the reload zone. Now the reload zone is the area between the 0.618 and the 0.786. These two fibs. That's the reload zone. We had a bullish engulfing candle inside the reload zone, and also very important, the bullish engulfing candle closed above the 50% and above the moving averages on the 4-hour, and we got a bull cross on the stochastics below 30 on the 1-hour. So this is a 1-hour setup, and it works exactly the same on the 4-hour. What I'd like to always make sure is if I'm going long, price needs to be above the daily moving averages. And preferably you want the 20 EMA in the 4-hour, the daily, to be above the 50 EMA in the daily. All right, question.
List of a question,
yeah,
but we're going to go
yeah,
through some questions. That was just the one I was just going to put there.
Michael Smart.
He's smart. He listens. 250k is not going to enter you in. I'm going to post it soon, the word, and then once people enter in, they can enter it that way. But we're more interested in what's going on in the markets first, trading, and that's why we're going to go into some questions. So, which MA are you using, and how many indicators are you using?
Okay, so I'm using one indicator, my personal indicator, but it's actually a combination of different indicators. So the main indicators that I'm using is the stochastics RSI, and then I'm using two EMAs, and that's going to be the 20 EMA and the 50 EMA. So I got the stochastics RSI, the EMAs, and then I also have the weekly open and the monthly open on my chart. Now, if you want to get all of this on the chart, it's very easy to just add the EMAs. For the weekly and monthly open, there is a indicator called, I believe it's Key Levels by Spaceman BTC. He has key levels where you can get the like the daily open, the daily, like everything. So very, very good indicator, that one.
Good stuff.
And the settings for the stochastic RSI is a bit different than the original. I have 70 and 30 instead of, I believe it's 80 and 20 for original. And the reason why I have the 30 and the 70 is because basically I'm just allowing the stochastics RSI more room to create that nice bottom.
So I wanted to know about the RLS slingshot workout. I've seen it before on your streams, and I have notes, but I need to refresh it.
Okay, yeah. So again, the RLZ slingshot or the RLZ method. So the RLZ slingshot is the indicator, and the system is the RLZ method. Now, it might be confusing, so maybe we can just call it the RLZ slingshot. So let me break down the system that I'm using, and it's important to remember here, guys, when the system that I'm about to show you is based on pure the fundamental, the very basics of market structure analysis and trend analysis, and that's the basis of technical analysis. So what I would recommend you all do if you're not if you're starting out and you don't have a good grasp of technical analysis, instead of going on YouTube and looking at very specific, trading systems with very fancy names, just Google market structure and trend analysis. Just the very basics, and you will understand that everything that happens in the market is either you get trending moves or ranging moves. And in the beginning, you want to focus on trending moves. And this system is created with that very basic understanding in mind. So here you have an uptrend, higher highs, higher lows. Should be quite easy to understand for the very beginning. So you get a higher highs and higher lows. Now, what I've done here is when I created this system, I basically looked for a trending market and I applied the break and retest method, which is basically just to get the break of resistance and then you're retesting the break at level, and this is where I want to buy. And then I'm taking profits at this high right here because that's the point where the chance of this trend ending is highest in my opinion. So I enter on the break and retest and then I exit here, and stop loss is going to be below the low that confirmed the entry. Very, very simple. And I'm pretty sure that this lies at the very foundation of most trading systems out there. Now, what I've done and what's unique to this system is I've added the 20 EMA and the 50 EMA. And price have to hit either the 20 EMA or the area between the 20 EMA and the 50 EMA. Now, this works on most timeframes because of the fact that this is based on the very core fundamentals in technical analysis and price action is fractal. This works on all timeframes. Now, when price hits that level, I also want the stochastics RSI to give me a bull cross below 30. And I'm adding the fib. And I want this all to happen preferably inside the reload zone, with the entry trigger being a bullish engulfing candle to close above 50% fib. So again, we go back to the example right here. Go to the 1 hour, look at that. We see price coming down, hitting that breakout level right here inside the reload zone, bullish engulfing candle, closing above the 50, closing above the moving averages, a bullish a bull cross below 30, and I'm taking profit at the last local high, where you also have the weekly open. And that's it. Very, very
Nice.
simple. Very, very simple.
Well, news is, I'm actually in a trade right now and I've just noticed it finally taking off. I lost. I was actually in a long from yesterday, at the end of the stream yesterday, and I was in a long. And unfortunately, I trailed stops a bit too close and it took me out. And then I saw, obviously, but it seems like there's news right now. I didn't think the news on the EU. What news is it? Unemployment change in the US.
Why am I not getting? I gotta. So I'm on Trading View here, and I'm not getting anything.
Yeah, so I double checked because I didn't actually see the ADP employment change. I thought it was just Euro news and obviously FOMC later. And then I just saw the chart finally start spiking. I've got some more questions. Do you like standing up when you're trading?
Yeah, I do like standing
You do?
up. Yeah, I do. I got my standing desk here. Oh, I almost broke the desk here. I also have this exercise bike, so I can actually get on my exercise bike, and then got my desk raised. I can trade while being on the exercise bike, and sometimes I like to push the exercise bike under the standing desk, and I'm not doing that anymore because I forget about it, and when I do lower the desk, it all kind of falls forward. And I got 4 screens here. Do I ever hold trades overnight and try to take advantage of the triple swap on Wednesday night? No, I don't even care about swaps. I don't like, that's nothing.
You need to have big position. You need to have big positions on to even care about swaps, and I personally don't like holding big positions overnight. I can't sleep well.
Yeah, so because I have, I'm swing most of the time. I'm taking trades like this one with quite wide stop loss, and I'm not risking, too much. I'm not gonna put on like massive positions. If I would be if I would have had like a tighter stop loss and more risk, then obviously I would be using higher, bigger positions. But yeah, I don't really care about swap.
What are your thoughts on potential pound Aussie dollar to reach the 1950 level? Do you want to just pull that up on your chart and see what you? I don't
Let's
look at
see.
that pair, so I don't know.
No, is it? Where is it? 95? Wow, that's way. Oh, all the way up here.
So he's
Well,
looking at macro. He's looking at
yeah,
the
okay.
macro
So
price action.
I think when we look at levels, it's gonna be this one. Let me just mark this one out so that it becomes a little bit more. Yeah, so when we're looking at this level, I think what we first have to focus on is the area that we're currently trading in, and that's going to be this one. So basically,
Where's the level? Where's the 195?
it's going to be the yellow one, or this one right here.
Yeah, that looks like a nice level where it could potentially hit.
Yeah, but it's going to be pretty much impossible for me to answer that question, because we're like right now we're at resistance, right? So usually like if you ask me, is price going to hit that level? Well, first we have to get above the resistance that we're currently trading in right now. And do I think it's likely? I don't know. Like the more this level gets touched, the weaker it becomes at resistance, right? So maybe with a few more touches we'll get above that level. But at this point, I don't know. I think it's
CEO in the building, people.
Oh wow. What's up, Saul?
It's got to turn up that microphone, baby.
Turn up. Wait.
Everybody put CEO in the chat. Then you're gonna enter into the competition. No, I'm joking. That's not how.
Oh man, you created chaos here.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
A little bit. It's a little. Maybe turn it up just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to do that.
Ooh, put it close to your mouth, maybe. Do you believe in anyone can be a good trader? No. Do you believe anyone can trade, or some people are not mentally suited for it?
Well, all right. So anyone can trade. Okay, anyone can trade. Anyone can open a brokerage account and press, buy or sell. So, and that's the problem with trading. And everyone can become a trader. And I think that's one of the problems in trading. Why it's so why the failure rate is so high. Because imagine if you walk into a hospital and I'm like, yeah, guys, I'm gonna do surgery today. I'm like, well, you're not even a doctor. Well, I am today. That's trading. You can walk in, you can just create a broker account and become a trader. But I think the question is if everyone's suited to become a trader, and I don't think so. I think some people are definitely going to have an easier time being traders than other. If you are able to, like, if you're more, if you're a person that is more comfortable taking risks, then maybe you're going to be a better trader. If you are a person that is disciplined and have good emotional control, I think you're going to have a better, easier time being a trader. With that said, all of these skills, you can learn all of these skills. But maybe that's the difference between someone becoming profitable in 6 months instead of 2 years, right?
Mm-hmm. I actually want to just this is quite a good one. Can you elaborate how to control emotions and eliminate aggressiveness and loss of control? Now, probably the biggest thing to do with this, because this is something that I have, and sometimes I've got past it, but sometimes I do have it, is a tendency to over leverage. And when I over leverage, you tend to lose your emotional state because you're so attached to what actually happens. You're so attached to the result because the money is actually hurting you if you lose it. So normally you've got to sometimes as well callous your mind a little bit, and sometimes that happens with just repetition. So cutting the risk and just repetition and slowly building that risk up will get rid of all of that, uncontrollable emotions that maybe you'll be having. A lot of new people have that, and it's because that their risk is just all over the place. But if you slowly, like you're going to the gym and you're putting on weight and you're having a bigger bench press, you've got to do it slowly, and that way you'll be able to control it eventually. That's what I think.
Yeah, and I want to kind of like expand on that just a second. I think you need to, like, you're never going to get control, have control over your feelings unless you get to know them, right? So you have to kind of like get to know yourself on a deep level to really know what your emotions mean. So for me, whenever I take a trade, so for example, this GBP AUD trade, I know I had a string of losses before this one, so I got to ask myself, what's my mental state of mind? Because I know that big part of my edge is my mental edge, the ability to actually know which trades to take based on, because there's this thing in trading which is the intuitive feeling you get when you look at the screen. You see a trade, and for some reason that trade just looks much better than the other one, and I do feel like that feeling, like after years in the market, that's something you should be following at times. And you have to ask yourself, what mental state of mind are you in, and try to identify your emotions. And when you're feeling very that stop loss gets hit and you feel very frustrated, you need to take a break. You need to reset your mental balance before you get into the next trade. So yeah, trading psychology, very, very important.
The Forex screen. So I don't normally trail stops, and I actually got into a position yesterday and trailed my stops and got taken out of it. So I think for people like you and I, is the best thing is just set and forget. You've got your risk, you've put your risk on, you just gotta not touch it. Don't trail your stops. You've got to be confident that, okay, if I'm going to lose this amount of money, then that's it. I'll move on to the next one. So again, not over risking and just being true to yourself with that's the amount you're going to risk, and you're not going to move and play with the position.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about testing as well. If you have a system, you've back tested that system, and you back tested in a sense where you enter the trade, you put the stop loss, and you put the TP, and then you see which one is going to hit first. If that's the system that you've back tested, if you start managing the trade, you're effectively trading something else. So you have to test that as well. You have to make sure that your trade management is something that works, and you need to test that. So I think that's very important as well, to make sure that's just not.
Nah, only 100. I'm a small guy. I'm only 79 kilo. But tell me what yours is. Go on, tell me what your bench is. What about risk? What are we looking for, like risk in certain things, Jonathan? I know somebody asked about that.
Yeah, so I'm a big believer in staying consistent with risk management. I know some people, they have maybe multiple approaches where they feel like, oh, this is a good trade, so I'm going to risk 2%, and then the day after it's like, oh, this doesn't feel as good, so I'm going to risk 1%. Now, if you're too inconsistent with the risk, you're basically just betting on one trade to be better than the other. And if that 2% risk is a loser, well, you're down 2%, and yeah, you gotta stay consistent, I believe, at risk, and start very, very small. When you're starting out, or when you're trading a funded account, start small. Like 1% might even be way too much for some people.
So it depends what you're doing. Wow, this is shooting up, man. Is there more news that's come out?
Yeah, right now it's the news. There's the.
So it depends if you want to. Yeah, sorry, so.
I'm just checking out GDP in Canada and the ADP non-farm employment change in the US. So I'm just watching both Euro USD and USD CAD to see if there's any reaction. I've been the markets have been so quiet, so sideways. So hopefully this will bring a little bit of volatility and direction in the market. So so we can do something about.
I wanted to
about
just
it.
talk about that risk that the guy was just on about. It depends if you're in a challenge or if you're trading a real live account or you're even trading a personal account. Now, you're in a challenge, you've got to take a little bit more risk, okay? And that's why I say if you've got a 10% drawdown, cut that into 10, 1%, okay? And then just use each trade, you're just taking 1%, and eventually if you've got a 1-to-2 ratio, whatever your ratio is, but that's what I would use as a 1%, and you've got 10 times. If you're wrong 10 times and you don't pass, there's a lot of times you've got to be wrong before you blow up your account. Now, on a personal account, using 1% all the time is probably not the best idea. You want to take it a lot slower. You want to build up a buffer. You want to build up the account. So again, you've got to understand what your goal is with a certain account. If you've got to be risky with it, if you're not going to be risky, if it's going to be conservative, and then from there pick the kind of risk that you're going to use. If it's 0.25%, if it's 1%, or whatever, if it's short term or if it's a long term account. So it really does depend.
Alex, look at you! You're making some money, huh?
Wasn't that the trade that you told me to close earlier? It hit the stop loss though, so I did have to go back in.
That's a new trade.
Yeah, this one's a new one, unfortunately.
Oh, right.
I'm surprised you're not in though, Sal, because you like all of this volatility and getting in around about, whenever the market's going.
Yeah, I want to see. I want to see if there's going to be some confirmation of directional movement, or this is just going to be like a spike and it's going to go back to the range. So I need to wait a little bit more before jumping into the trade.
What was the parallel channel you were using, Jonathan?
The parallel channel, right?
Is that just like the default in?
Yeah. So usually what I do is, let's say you have get a trend line, and then you have just the parallel channel. So what I do, like, imagine you set a trend line like this, and you look at this and you say like, well, this is a big deviation from the trend line. Now, obviously, this is on the 4-hour, but imagine this being on the 5-minute, and so I view this trend line as basically it's an area. Okay, so imagine we're looking at the 5-minute and I believe on the very low time frames there's more room for error. So you want to make sure that you kind of like expand that, create a bigger zone, maybe something like that, and incorporate more price action. So it's just a parallel channel. I first add a trend line, and then I add the parallel channel with that trend line, and I try to incorporate like some of the wicks and candle closes like that. So that wick touches the upper part of the channel, and then that one touches the lower part. And it just makes sense. I don't know. Like, I look at this and I think, it just makes sense, because some people, they add a trend line, and as soon as there's just, a tick below that trend line, it's invalidated. Well, that's not really how trend line works, in my opinion.
Is bad news good news? Depends. It's relative.
Depends on if you're long or short, I guess.
It depends who you are.
Yeah. All right. Remember, guys, if you like the live stream, we're gonna have some surprises for you later. All right. How do you control fear when you trade so close to TPC? Well, that's a good one. I think is that fear or is that greed? I don't know.
Probably fear. Definitely
yeah,
fear, because you're scared that it's not going to make it to the take profit.
Yeah, so I think we can look at CTF JPY here. I think that's a good example. So I had my target here being the weekly open. So up here in that area, I'm just going to remove the indicator here to make it a little bit cleaner. So that's the weekly open, and I wanted to see that weekly open getting hit. Now imagine if price comes up here, like right here, and then forms a 1-hour bearish engulfing candle. Just close the trade. Just close the trade. If you have like a reversal pattern very, very close to your TP, why not just close the trade? So I think when you get close enough to TP, but then again, this is something that should be tested. Like, you have your system, you have that profit target in place for a reason. If you see that price more often than not gets rejected close to that TP, then you have something to test and something to work upon. Maybe you have to adjust your system.
I can add to that. Maybe if you get all of your trades and you see what the average price goes into profit. So let's say the average, or most of the time it goes into 20 pips profit. So you know that you're going to get those 20 pips profit. Then you can start to maybe aim for those targets. So let's say if you've got it at 40 pips and, you know, sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. You just got to maybe use a trading journal and just mark out, obviously, how far your trades go into profit before they turn back on you. And then slowly, maybe you can start building up the edge from, you know, chipping away at that kind of way of thinking. Maybe it's an idea.
Yeah. Man, I am not. You know, I've been going through the markets today, and I just have that feeling where it's like, you know, it's just not. Can't find anything super important or super
I'm with you,
interesting today.
Jonathan. Been, you know, since Monday, there's just nothing to trade. You know, there's.
I go
Yeah,
2% into profit, into drawdown, back into profit. It's honestly, it is hard. But what's your opinion on trading?
Oh man, yeah. All right. So
I like this. I've got something to say after Jonathan.
Dude, so let me get this correct me if I'm wrong. ICT, is that the guy who got kidnapped by two market makers, and the market makers revealed the secrets of the algorithm that controls the market? Like, if that's the same guy as the ICT you're mentioning, then his concepts might work very, very well. And if you're trading ICT and it works, that's absolutely fantastic. Congratulations to you guys. You have a profitable system. But that's all I have to say about that. I find it very interesting, the stories around ICT. It's almost
Never heard
it works. That is the story, but it's good marketing. But at the end of the day, if it works, it works. And you got to give it to trading gurus, because they do bring new people into the market, and they do bring people. They get eyes into this whole industry. After a little bit of time, you actually learn that trading isn't as easy, and you learn that trading isn't just all money. And there's a lot more to it. But you got to give it, you know, there's got to be gurus there to help, you know, bring in more people into this industry.
But yeah, so I got to say though, I mean, he did join the Robbins Cup this year, so big props to him. Like, that's very respectful of him to actually join the Robbins Cup. I'm not in, so I'm not going to be the person to say anything, because I'm not in the Robbins Cup. He's in the Robbins Cup. Now, if he gets good results in the Robbins Cup, that's it explains everything. However, I believe he has blown every account and every try he has made to the Robbins Cup, but that's another story. I'm not going to hate on the guy. I don't know him. I don't know his system. All I know is people love him. It's all sort of like a cult behavior thing going on around him. And if people make money trading his system, fantastic. That's so cool. I hear some music. Maybe Saul is playing around in the background.
No, that should be that would be Alex for sure.
All right. But yeah, I like.
Yeah, look, he's helped a lot of people, so you got to give him give him some stuff for that.
But you know, while we're on the subject of like trading gurus, you got to understand, people. You know, what is technical analysis? Well, technical analysis, especially when it comes to like the basics, the foundations of technical analysis, it's very simple. And if you know the very basics of technical analysis, you can see the signs in almost, you know, most of the trading systems out there. It's just a variation of, you know, trading, you know, supply and demand, and break and retest and breaking market structure. So instead of trying to find the best trading mentor or the best trading guru, try to look at the very core of what technical analysis is. And that's the goal with this channel. We want to give you knowledge so that you can build your own system, because no trader out there is going to say, yeah, I'm trading this guy's system. No, you're trading your system. We're all trading our own system that we have created based on, you know, our own discretionary way of trading.
Do you hold like a fixed amount of risk, or does it depend on market structure and things like that?
Yeah, it's the technicals doesn't determine the risk of the trade. The because again, that goes to what I said earlier. Like,
Yeah.
you don't know if trade number 1 or trade number 5 is going to be a winner. So if you're risking more on 1 than 5, like you're basically gambling on the same, trade. And I trade one setup, one system.
Yeah, I like having just the fixed risk. Really, just I don't really change it. But maybe let's say if you want a little bit of drawdown, you see yourself on a bit of a losing streak. Then maybe cutting the risk just a little bit to get your confidence back up, because sometimes a big thing with us traders, especially retail traders, well, actually everybody, when you go into a little bit of a losing streak, you kind of ask yourself if you are any good, if you're supposed to be trading, if this system even works, and it just gets into your head. So the best thing to do is start to build up the confidence. And if you're still putting on large positions, you can't really build up that confidence. So cut the risk into a quarter, into a half, into whatever you think is, until you don't care about the trade, to build up the confidence, and then maybe you'll get out of that losing streak. But that's the only time I would probably change the amount of risk that I'm putting on to trade. I hear Saul has got into a position.
I was in and out. I was just buying
missing the scalping, guys.
I was buying the bottom. I thought it would go a little bit lower, so I just started with one position, and in just one bar just took profit. So now wait for this to be a deeper pullback, and I'll start being in my short positions.
Okay, guys. So I got my good friend Dirk joining us shortly. However, I can't find the. Oh, there it is. Never mind. Find it. Probably should think before I speak. There we go. Yeah, we do offer education trading on our YouTube channel. We have big plans for the future, though, when it comes to trading education. So I probably not think Saul will, in the future you'll be seeing a lot of trading education, and it's gonna be good stuff. It's gonna be really good stuff, because at the 5ers, what we're interested in doing is, we're not only interested in giving traders the capital, we're interested in actually creating traders to give capital to, and having traders become better, because it's a win-win. All right, you gotta understand, it's a win-win. So absolutely, that's a big
controversy between day trader and a swing trader. Like everybody's, it doesn't really matter. Day trader just holds for intraday trends and trades intraday, and somebody a swing trader holds for a little bit longer. There's no
yeah, I mean, there's no specific rule that says like this is what a day trader is. But if you look at it, I'd say that a scalper is someone that gets in and out of trades within minutes, within minutes, while a day trader is someone who likes to get into a trade and out of that trade within the same day. And then a swing trader is someone who holds a position for a day, a couple of days, or even longer, in my opinion. But then again, a day trader can also, like, very active trader could enter a position on Monday and close that on Tuesday as well. And I would perhaps argue that that's day trading as well. So I don't think that's like, who cares really?
All those definitions, they were more relevant in other markets, like the stock market, where you have like an opening time and a closing time, and then if you open and close within that same session, has different costs that if you want to swing it, if you want to carry on to the next trading session. So all these swing traders, day traders definitions are very relevant to when you're speaking of stock trades, for example. Otherwise, if you incur into swing trading, into after the closing market, you have different costs. You have to reduce your margin. There's more implications. But all these definitions, once they were moved into the forex market, which has no opening time and closing time, are a little bit less relevant in terms of costs.
By the way, guys, if I do see spammers, I actually didn't know that you could like time people out. So if I see spammers, I'm hitting that timeout button so quick. So no spamming. If you got good questions, then We're going to answer some really good questions. And people that put in 250K, don't forget, we're probably going to wait just a little bit to even put out what word you're going to have to put into the comments before the giveaway is even going to be, before you can even enter into the giveaway. Oh, we got a guest.
Yep. Yeah, we got a guest. Let him get set up. I don't think. Oh, there he is. What's up, Dirk?
Hey, good.
How's it going?
How are you? Good. Nice to see all of you.
Yeah, nice to have you on. I should have
thanks for the
warned
invitation.
you. I should have warned you that we're a bunch of people on here.
That's okay. I watched your streams before and enjoyed them very much. So I was a little bit prepared.
Where are you from, Dirk? Are you from Germany?
I'm from Germany. Yeah.
Oh, it's a good guess.
give
That's
it
a
away
good
by my
guess.
accent.
How did I know that? I just really, how?
It's so mean, you know. I've been talking English my whole life, but I never ever got rid of my accent.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I have the same problem here.
So where are you from?
I'm from the UK, but I live in Israel, so
Okay, nice.
I've got the English accent when I speak Hebrew.
Yeah, British
All right,
accent.
Dirk, you've
Yeah.
been you're a market veteran. You've been in the market for how long? 20 years now?
This is my 26th year. Yeah,
Nice,
So-
nice.
probably longer
Your
than some of
26th
our.
year?
For 26 years, yeah, since 1998.
You weren't
And
planned,
you're,
Alex.
and you're trading Bitcoin. That's crazy.
Yeah,
You
but
know?
you know what they say, everybody buys Bitcoin at the price they deserve. So I didn't buy it right away in 2009 or mind it. Took me until
Yeah.
2017 to finally get the hang of it. But since then, I've
I
loved
bought it in 2017 as well, and then I sold it in 19 at the very, very low.
I actually held through all of that, through 2 cycles just up and down, and eventually
Nice.
Yeah,
ended up
I
selling
gotta
it.
see
I
some
just
proof of that.
I don't know if
Alex.
it's nice, you know. I actually made the same mistakes I did in 2018. I did them in 2021. So
Yeah, it's not
it is
easy.
what it is.
All right, Dirk, what's your plan here for the interest rate decision?
My plan for the interest rate decision is waiting until I hear what Jerome Powell has to say. I mean, it's pretty much set in stone, in my opinion, at least for tonight, that we are not going to see a change in interest rate. A couple of weeks ago, people were still expecting that they might lower the interest rate. I mean, we saw GDP growth, which was surprisingly well also in the United States. So, but of course, the Fed is still going to wait for inflation really to come down to its target of 2% again. So I think tonight we're not going to see anything. It's going to be in terms of interest rate. There's of course going to be a little bit of volatility for sure, especially in the US dollar. And I think it's going to be more interesting down the road, probably in the May FOMC meeting. That's at least my game plan at the moment. That we're going to see an interest rate cut there. And this is going to be interesting because, of course, the markets will probably react positive to that then. And shortly before that, we also have a Bitcoin halving. So this could be
Yeah.
a potential very interesting setup.
What is it? 200 days or like 100, 150? I can't remember. Like how many days?
Bitcoin Hub is like 75 or something like that.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
70
wow,
days.
75.
Around 80ish, yeah, exactly.
You know, if the Fed starts lowering rates when the halving comes along, that's going to be incredible. Like that's the perfect storm for Bitcoin.
Yeah,
Rocket fuel.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So what are
Let's talk
How
about
are you-
Bitcoin.
yeah. How I was just gonna ask you, like, how are you positioned on Bitcoin going into this? I know you got your long-term positions, and
Yeah.
that's not haven't changed, right? You're still quite
That's
long
not
Bitcoin.
changed. I hodled through the storm, so to say. In the hindsight, of course, I wish I would have sold also at the top, but that's what trading is all about. You know, you never or rarely catch the tops and the bottoms. I think the February is for sure going to be interesting. If you want, we can share my screen when I can show
Yeah, definitely.
some stuff here. Hold on, let me just put this out of the way here. Good. So weekly chart here of Bitcoin. What is really interesting at the moment are actually a number of things. what we normally see. So you see here a simple moving average of 8 weeks, and below this the so-called bull market support bands, which is nothing else than a 20 weeks simple moving average and a 21 weeks exponential moving average. And what we usually see, well, let's start like this. We can, of course, very clearly see here, since we bottomed out in November 2022, we've slowly but steady established an uptrend again. We have higher highs here, so very classic, and we have higher lows. So nothing surprising, standard textbook chart analysis here. However, what is interesting is what happens when Bitcoin falls below this 8 weeks moving average. So we saw that, for example, here. We saw that also here. We saw that here. What it likes to do when it does that in uptrends, it likes to pull back to its bull market support bands. So a couple of weeks ago, I said, I actually did a video on this also on my channel, and said if we close below this 8 weeks moving average, there's a high chance that we are going to see Bitcoin retracing back to the bull market support bands. Now we have almost done that. I think we bottomed out at, what was that, around 38.7 or something like this. What is interesting now is that we might actually not be through the storm, in my opinion, because if I scroll back here all the way, for example, to 2020, we can there see in February 2020, we also had this pullback. Of course, it was a bit exaggerated there because this is when COVID came. So we had a kind of a black swan event kind of supporting the pressure on risk on markets back then. So we overextended all the way down here to 3,800. However, the fact remains that in February of the last halving year, we also saw Bitcoin testing its bull market support bands. And if we go back even to the 2016 halving, which was in July, and have a look here at February, we also saw that that Bitcoin in February of 2016 try to attack its bull market support band. So that seems to be something, if history repeats itself, of course, that is not out of the books yet, in my opinion, that we could see that now in February happening too. So that would be a target here of between 37 and 38,000 US dollars. The more weeks we stay above that, of course, the higher these bull market support bands will also move. And one thing, in my opinion, that speaks against that is at the moment, if we see from the local top to the local bottom, how much that move always was. We saw that first one here was minus 22.5%. If you want to count in the wicks, that is, of course, the second one here was around 21%. The third one here was around 21.7%. And we've seen that already. Yeah? If we count in this euphoric wick to the upside we had because of the ETFs, all the way to the bottom, we've seen a drawdown of 21.5% at the moment. So this, in my opinion, is something that could speak in favor that this was it already. That from now on, we are going to see actually a positive February and March. Because usually also in the month, so 1 month prior to the halving, we see a little bit of a bull run because people are pre-buying the halving, so to say, because they expect, okay, with the halving, the support is cut in half again. The Bitcoin's coming onto the market every 10 minutes by miners. So probably it will boom then. Right after the halving, usually we see a little bit of a pullback of price also again. So this is, what I think at the moment. So my game plan is here. I bought a couple of Bitcoin as a swing trade at 40,000. I have orders at 38 and 37,000 that sadly were not executed yet, but let's see if it moves upwards.
Are you going to get executed today, I'm sure? Today,
you think
later
so?
Today? Yeah, definitely. You're gonna get filled on that, guys. Sorry to interrupt you here, but I just want to say I've known Dirk for many years. We've been traded together for many years. We've done a lot of live streams like this one, and his analysis when it comes to the overall macroeconomics with Bitcoin in focus has been spot on for actually quite a few years. So this is the guy you want to look into following if you're into buying and holding Bitcoin for the long term. And I like that what you said. I can't remember like the bull run support or whatever. And we've all for a long time we looked at the weekly. Was it the weekly 20 EMA or the SMA?
The 8 weeks SMA, you mean, or what?
No, the bull run support.
Oh,
Is that
the
that's the weekly 20?
bull market support run. That's 20 weeks simple moving average and the 21 weeks exponential moving average.
Yeah, so I remember how that's been a great support for a very long time. I remember when we bounced on that like in 2021, and I like that, because I always keep maybe we should definitely share his details in the chat. I will get that ready.
Also,
and then
we'll put them in the description at the end as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
So we always talk about how Bitcoin likes to leave everyone behind. And
True,
and I think that 20 simple moving average on the weekly is such a good level, because if you look at that, it's where if you bounce at that level, you leave everyone behind who's waiting for that 32K level to get hit, or that 31 or 32K. So me and Alex, we've talked a lot about that level. We talked about like, I want to buy Bitcoin at 30 or 31, or maybe all the way up to like 32. And also, we're saying like, Bitcoin is probably going to leave everyone behind because I don't like, if we're in the bull market, we usually not retrace that much. Like if you look at all the prior bull markets on Bitcoin, it's just basically on the weekly, it's a straight line, straight up on the weekly. You very rarely come down and test the breakout levels.
Then again,
once it really starts.
Sorry, Dirk.
No, you go ahead, please.
No, I was just going to say, sometimes 30% in a bull market, 30% retracements, they're not that. It just shows just a healthy trend, especially when everything is pumping so much. People need to take profits and people need to get out, and that a lot of people are still going to be left on the sidelines. And with that level of the 30K, I just love if it went there just so I can buy more altcoins, because as soon as Bitcoin starts shredding down to those levels, then altcoins are also going to absolutely melt, and it's a perfect opportunity to buy. So
I wonder if anyone has checked up on Capo lately, because that 12K looks juicy.
God, you're going into Capo and you're gonna start hurting his feelings if he jumps onto our stream.
Yeah, man, wow. 12K, still waiting for that 12K. I remember seeing a tweet a couple of weeks ago saying like, trying to explain what the altcoin market is gonna get destroyed, and Bitcoin is gonna reach that 12K. I'd say at this point, maybe when price is when price is almost 300% above that level, maybe it's time to call the trade invalidated. I don't know. But
it could happen.
Dirk, I have a question from the audience. Okay,
sure.
So I want to understand in plain English the relationship between interest rates, let's say like tonight in the US, and Bitcoin movement. Like we sometimes see the alignment of the Bitcoin to the S&P, and sometimes there's no alignment. So is it because there's a lack of interest on getting USD, so the Bitcoin increases in value, or what's the relationship between USD interest rates and the Bitcoin value?
I do not know if there's like a direct relationship between those, or correlation between those, like one-to-one. However, you just said it. Of course, we have that correlation with the S&P 500, which, by the way, in my opinion, now that we have institutional traders coming into Bitcoin, is going to get lower. Yeah, we've seen more and more cases now in the past month where they deviate from each other, where we had like those huge wicks now for Bitcoin to the downside, while the S&P 500 made a new all-time high. So this is going to break up a little bit this perception, in my opinion, at least, that both are perceived as risk-on assets. However, what we can see, and Bitcoin should at least midterm benefit also from this, is the mere fact that, for example, these interest rate plateaus that we now are since I think July or September last year, when we had this final rate hike to 5.5%, 5.25 to 5.5% in the USA, that these plateaus usually last between 4 and 17 months, on average 9 months, which would put interest rate cut into May 2024. This is why I've been saying for such a long time now, May 2024, you want to see. And once we see that, we are going to have money flooding into risk on assets, even more than it does right now, because there's simply not an alternative. And Bitcoin should profit from this, because the only other alternatives that a lot of wealth advisors, wealth advisors or large investment companies like, for example, BlackRock have, is that they invest in stocks. But maybe you want to diversify from that a little bit, so you have to invest in Bitcoin also. This is where I see the relationship. As long as Bitcoin is perceived as a risk-on asset, the lower the interest rate are, the higher the interest is going to be in Bitcoin. Because I always have the choice then, do I get the, say, 5.5%? Or, I mean, it's even lower now. I think 10-year treasuries are, approaching 4% now again, if I'm not mistaken. Or do I take the risk and buy a potential asset that can make me on average, help me out 25, 30, 50%, whatever the average is there for Bitcoin. I think this is the correlation. If we would see interest rates going very high, just in a hypothetical scenario now, let's say it goes to, because inflation bounces back to 20% or whatever, hyperinflation suddenly, we for sure would see Bitcoin massively going down first. But we always have to remember the end game as an investor in Bitcoin, as a buyer of Bitcoin, as a long-term hodler, is always that you kind of think like that the traditional fiat system eventually is going to crash. I don't want to be over dramatic now, of course, but as a hedge against the US dollar, basically. Yeah. This is what I think, what I see. What is also very interesting, in my opinion, is just if you look at inflation, for example, and Jonathan will remember this. I remember we did a live stream back in 2022, September 2022, when inflation ticked down the first time from 9.1% in the USA. And we said back then, well, whenever that happened in the past, when inflation was above 6%, and then for the first time started ticking down again, this was pretty much always, since 1970, the bottom of the stock market. And it happened again this time. And
and I remember that live stream. We said, like, because I remember we started talking about this, and we started kind of like building up the idea that this might actually be the macro bottom for risk on assets. And if you look at 2022, Bitcoin did bottom out on, at least on the weekly, while at the same time as the S&P 500 gave us that beautiful break in market structure, like that, printed higher highs and higher lows. And it all happens right at that point. So at least at that point, I think the correlation between the S&P 500 and Bitcoin and the relationship between those two and interest rates were very clear. I mean, the S&P 500 and Bitcoin is two very obvious risk-on assets. And, I mean, like you said, when, like, I'm a big believer in Bitcoin because of the decentralized nature and the fact that it can truly be a hedge against the major financial system. But it needs to decouple, whatever that word is. It needs to, and I don't think that's going to happen in a very, very long time. I think Bitcoin is going to be just another risk-on asset for a very long time, unless something happens, maybe like a new major financial crash or something like that.
Yeah, if we have a black swan event or something like this, but we've said that before also, of course, you can, as a trader, as an investor, never trade on black swan events. Never place the bet, oh, there's going to be a black swan event happening soon. It always sells very nice in the media if you are somebody that always says, like, there's the largest crash since 1929 just around the corner, and I will show you how to get through this. You just need to buy my book. It's I mean, I know guys, Harry Dent, for example, who has been saying this every year since 2006. Imagine on how much and has invested in gold. Then imagine how much return on investment you missed out for the past 15 years by doing something like this. No, this is why, in my opinion, I always like when I do analysis like this and I come to a different realization than the majority of the market thinks at the moment. And it was back then in 2022 the case. Everybody was screaming, we are going to hit hard, inflation is coming back, and the economy is going to basically collapse in the US. I said, no, if the Americans are good at one thing, it's like pulling their sleeves up and getting to work and, pardon my English, getting the head out of the shit.
Yeah, you mentioned that you believe the correlation between the S&P 500 and Bitcoin is going to be weaker now that the institutions are here with the ETFs and everything.
I agree with you that it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's also not going to happen like this year. It's going to be a slow process. I think we are going to see more and more of these phases where Bitcoin and the S&P deviate. The correlation between both of them is going to become less and less and less, but it's still a long way. I'm thinking here like maybe 3, 5, or even 7 years ahead. It's still a tiny market, compared to cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, compared to traditional assets.
That's why I'm so bullish on it. If it's just
Absolutely,
the start and we're here and it's, only in the lower trillions, compared to TradFi and how big that is, it's a no-brainer to start investing even a little bit of money each month, to get a little bit of exposure to this kind of market, It's for me, it's a no-brainer, but I know a lot of people are scared of things that they don't know. So
it's because it's at our high was 69,000. So people have a hard time imagining it could go to 100K or even 1 million or maybe even 10 million. But it's the same. You just have to zoom out a little bit if you are, dear viewers, in that situation that you think, oh, it's too high now. I shouldn't buy. I should wait until it comes back again, until we see 35 or 30,000. When that happens, probably you're going to think, oh, I'm going to wait some more. It's going lower. We've seen plenty of that when we were at 16,500 US dollars. It's going to 12. It's going to 10,000. And but people let's say 8 years ago had exactly the same problem, or in 2012 or something, when you saw Bitcoin went from 30 cents up to $1. It cannot go higher now. I always have to remember there's this one tweet of somebody, I think it was 2012 or 13, tweeting something like, I wish I would have kept my 20,000 Bitcoin at 8 cents now that it's trading at 30 cents.
Yeah, I remember that.
Looking back at it, this is of course extremely funny. But let's be honest, this is what happens to everybody who starts investing in Bitcoin eventually. You say oh, why didn't I buy more? Why didn't I buy more?
So I know we talked about a potential long-term target for Bitcoin. Are you still looking at that 100K target for the long term?
Minimum. I think if everything goes according to plan, my target, if we really extend, wait, I think I have a chart for that also, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, here we go. Simple logarithmic regression here for Bitcoin. And we should, if everything goes as it always does in the bull markets, we should actually see prices somewhere between 200 and 300,000 US dollars. Now, take this with a grain of salt, though, because there's, first of all, nothing is certain when you're investing and trading. There can be new technology just around the corner that destroys everything, or you name it. And but I believe that the last bull run, where everybody, including myself, expected 100 already, was a little bit by COVID cut short. The swing to the downside and the economy lockdown and everything, that had an impact on risk on assets, obviously. We saw the same in the S&P 500 or on stocks in general. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the swing to the other side, the pendulum now, that we overextend to the upside. So potentially it could go higher. Minimum target is 100K. What is important, in my opinion, if you are invested in Bitcoin, think of an exit plan. And think of it now, because once the FOMO sets in again, that everybody's getting the laser eyes on social media, or whatever it's going to be this time, it's very difficult to sell then. So you got to have those targets before, and then you have to execute. Entering the trade, the investment is always the easy part. The exit is the hard part.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
soon as people start talking about Bitcoin in mainstream, it's honestly like this has been true for every bull market that I've been in. As soon as they start talking about it on mainstream TV, it's time to sell. When
Yeah.
your taxi driver is talking about Bitcoin, you sell. Like when you had discussion with your barber about Bitcoin, you get out immediately. So in 2017, in 2017, at the top of 2017, I remember like at the very, very top, you had Katy Perry posting on Instagram pictures of her fingernails being painted in different altcoins. And I'm like, yeah,
That's
we're
nothing.
about.
I had my grandmother talk to me about Bitcoin in 2021. My grandmother was like,
Oh,
"Oh,
wow.
Alex, do you know about this Bitcoin stuff?" If that isn't a top indication, I don't know what is.
I invested oh my God. I got my mother to invest in Bitcoin at the top in 2017. So I don't know if that's a top.
Ooh.
So if that's a good top signal, I don't know. So next time I call my mom, like, now's the time. But yeah, I've stopped giving out advice. It's just yeah.
Nobody
For
ever
me,
knows
it's always
what's going on in the
whenever
market.
I start talking to my wife about Bitcoin, where I say like, "Oh, hey, did you see Bitcoin is at 48,000?" It's always the local top then.
Yeah,
But I never
exactly.
execute. I never sell anyway. So
Yeah, on this latest pump to the upside, like when we got rejected at 30K, I started getting messages from friends like, "It's a time to buy Bitcoin now." Like, no, I'm sorry, you're too late. It's you're a couple of months too late. You gotta wait. Till the next bull market.
I had friends buying Doge at the top in 2021, and
Ooh.
they're putting in racks and racks of money, thinking it was going to continue up to $1. No, my friend, it was not.
that's like the thing I never did. I never was much of an altcoin guy. For me, it's always Bitcoin, maybe Ethereum a little bit, but I
What
think
about
everything
Solana?
else.
What is your take on Solana?
It's a scam. Nobody needs.
No, don't say
Solana.
that. Pump my bags. Everybody, Solana.
But Alex,
the
you gotta.
next Ethereum.
Well, listen, you gotta understand, the scams pump the hodlers. That's like
Yeah.
the truest thing in crypto. If it's a
That's
scam, you'll
true.
see a pump. You look at, I mean, unfortunately, it's gonna collapse at some point, but that's just the way of the world in the altcoin market, unfortunately.
I'm gonna close this. I'm closing out.
Guys, I'll need to jump out. I'll see if I can make it back in a few minutes, but I need to deal with some stuff. But great to being here. Good to see you, Dirk.
Thank you.
Jonathan,
Thanks for having
Alex. See you.
Yeah,
See you
thanks
later.
all.
Do you guys want a quick break, like a 10-minute break? Because I can just pop something up here, and you guys can get a coffee and stuff. How do you guys feel? Dirk, how do you feel?
Yeah, let's.
Coffee sounds like a good plan. I just finished.
Yeah,
Let's go. So, guys, we're
then
going to come
maybe-
back in 10 minutes, and then we're going to, towards the end of the stream, we're going to start with the giveaway stuff. You guys that have been here and you've lapped up a lot of great information stuff here. It hasn't been spoken about before on this stream, on the streams that we did. So it's going to be exciting. So we'll be back in 10 minutes.
Yep.
No, okay. Brilliant. See you guys.
See you.
All right, we are back.
10 minutes is a
Nice.
long
That was
time.
nice to have
Wow.
to have a
10 minutes is a long time though. I was like done everything I wanted to do in like 3 minutes, and I sat here and oh god, what am I going to do now for the rest of the time? But,
Guys, what do
my
you think?
camera, I do
gotta-
warn you guys, my camera might turn off. It is a little bit overheated. This camera has a
Alright.
tendency to overheat a little bit, so I might actually be.
What camera do you have? Do you have like a
Sony A2 or something like that. Sony Mark
Nice.
II.
I just got myself a new lens, so this is the first stream with the new lens. Look at my
Looking
beautiful
sharp.
face.
Looking very sharp.
Very
my friend.
good. Yeah, looking nice. All right, so what you got? What do you got here? That looks a lot of. I like the colors here.
Yeah.
Oh, it's my chart. Oh, okay. No, I just was looking at euro dollar a little bit to kind of see where we're going, but on the daily time frame, we are somewhere in between. So the support area here down at around about 107.50, up here at 110.50. I don't think we are going to hit either of those today, because this is where I earliest would think about positioning myself in a trade in euro dollar again.
You're using Heikinashi, I see. What's the reason?
It's a version of Heikinashi. They are called arithmetic candles, but they are almost the same, except that I prefer those because they kind of show you more clearer how the trend is currently.
What's the reason you use that? It just cuts out all the noise
It's
and
just
keeps.
exactly to get a broad overview of what the market is doing at a higher time frame at the moment. I like to look that before I go on to lower time frames to then see like, okay, where can I really enter the market? Where does it make sense to enter the market? Like you can see here, for example, on the higher time frame, like if you get these drawings, the yellow or the orange one, this is usually when the market is either to the upside or downside overheated a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I like to align this with where the strong support and resistance areas are, and then look either for breakouts like the one we had here, or for that we bounce off of a support or resistance. But as I said, at the moment we're somewhere in between. So
yeah,
I gotta be patient.
I like market profile. I like using that, especially on like futures for crypto. Market profile is really good for support and resistance and showing where the most volume is.
But how does that work in the forex market though? Because I know like using forex, like using volume indicators in the forex market is just way different. I mean, it makes perfect sense in the crypto market, but what's
setting it onto ticks instead of basically ticks. I know Jordan from Traderlicious uses market profile and he sets it to ticks and it works fine. It just shows him where the most volume is and what levels, and then he just trades to level to level.
We need to get him on and explain that. So I can start.
That would be interesting too. I don't know. I'm not good with market profile.
Yeah.
I want to show I exited a trade here, and I want to show you the reasoning why I exited trade. So there's two reasons why I decided to exit this trade. So first you have this trade. The trade idea here was based on basically this candle right here, and most of the time I'd like to see something like this, and then it kind of keeps moving higher. And when I get a move lower here, I want to be adding the fibs of this move, like that. No, not like that, like this. And if price gets below this reload zone, I want to get out of the trade. And so I have a very wide stop loss, and the reason why I have a wide stop loss is because I can exit much sooner than the stop loss getting hit, which means this will be a very small loser. If I had my stop loss, here, a wick could have easily taken my stop loss out here and then kind of closed inside the reload zone once again. But now I see on the 50-minute that we have, well, actually this did close inside. So imagine if I had a stop here and that wick took out my stop loss, and then the candle closed up inside again and started trading higher. So and then that's the first reason, like price action in the lower time frames, but then also the 4-hour candle closed below the 50 with quite a big wick right here. So like I don't feel like I want to be in a position when the whole setup that I was watching is just It is something else.
I feel we trade in quite a similar manner. So breaks, retest to a fib, and then continuation to break the highs. If we put it simply, that's what you do.
I think the major. I think the major difference is you're in profit on your trade right now.
No, well, I've taken it's all gone now.
Nice.
So I've taken it off. That just makes up for me trailing the stop loss and getting it hit earlier on in the day. So there you go. With the the same place.
Yeah, awesome. So Dirk, you're not the way you're trading. You're more of a swing trader or position trader, right?
Well, let me put it like this: 90% of my positioning is very long term. I do swing trades. When I say swing trades, I say anything between 1 month and 3 months. That is a swing trade for me.
Wow.
Funnily enough, I did a live stream with somebody the other day who said, like, well, for me, long term is when I hold onto my trade for more than a day. And so it's always about perspective. What I usually do is that I do not trade so much directly the spot market when we're talking about Forex. So let's say if price would move up here now, and I decide, for example, that it's time to short euro dollar, I usually would do that by selling a call option on euro dollar. This is kind of how I grew up. I'm by the book an option trader. And for me, that has the benefit also that I do not have to rely so much on timing. Especially if you short euro dollar. Well, if you short euro dollar, actually, it's quite good because you should get paid the swap in this case because interest rate in the US dollar is higher than in the euro. Depends, of course, which broker you are using. But usually I would do that with an option, and the option would have an expiry of 1 to 3 months. Why 1 to 3 months? Because I'm the writer of the option in this case, and the time decay, so the option becomes with every day more and more worthless, which is something I want, of course, because I'm the one taking the risk, because I'm writing the option, somebody else is buying it from me. So that's the strategy I usually would take, and then I just have to manage the risk. So I might need to, for example, buy euro dollar if it continues higher, because I potentially will get exercised from my option.
So many different ways to trade. It's honestly,
amazing, isn't it?
Such an ecosystem. You can arbitrage. You can, just like options trading. There's so much. I can't even get all of the ways to trade just because I don't even know all of them, and there's so many of them to do it. It's amazing.
You cannot, and also like it's always amazing to see like show one chart to 3 different traders, and they are going to see different things. And this is also why I always enjoyed like talking to Jonathan, for example, because his way looking at the market is like totally different from my way. So I can always, even after 26 years, I can still learn so much. Yeah, and I think this is part of the foundations. Also, if you want to be a successful trader, that you need to be willing to learn. This is actually one thing that gets more difficult. The longer you're in the market, the more you kind of, at least I become biased. You value your own opinion very much, which is not a good thing. I mean, it's a good thing, but it's not a good thing if you do it too much.
Definitely.
How did you get started in trading, Dirk? And how did you obviously said you were kind of born into the whole options trading. Why options trading, and how did you even get into it?
Well, I started actually in 1998 because I started working for a bank. You know, my dad back then says, Dirk, you have to do something with your life. How about you start working for a bank? And I said, well, okay, I'll give it a try, better than slacking around. And that was the days where we had the internet bubble, or it was pre-internet bubble still. And I became very quickly very fascinated with how much you can win and later also lose money on the stock markets, so that I decided to become a stock trader, stock broker, actually. So I have a broking certificate, and I still learned, on the trading floors to throw all these weird hand signs back and forth to trade stocks. I did this back then in Munich. And later on, I progressed then into forex trading. Somehow traders are always attracted by forex, maybe because it's the most liquid market. This is something, of course, you want as a trader, so you get good executions and you do not get ripped off by the market or have too much slippage and so on and so forth. And then I was asked by a family office back then who had a client that was the world largest private client for option trading, if I wanted to join them because they liked my analysis. And this was in 2010, actually. This is how I got into option trading. I quickly saw like, hey, this is actually an instrument that very much aligns with my philosophy of risk management, with my positioning. Because I know myself, if I do the spot trade, for example, I end up like looking too much at the chart. If I have the option trade, I know I'm going to be in this trade now for the next 1 to 3 months. So I'm a bit more relaxed. Other people probably would say like, oh my God, don't write options. You have a limited amount you can earn, but all the risk to take. Yeah, it's always part of managing risks.
Yeah, but a question is, sorry, Jonathan.
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
So is trading options alongside swing trading the same time a guaranteed profit-making system? If you wait for the right levels, many use this strategy as a winning side in large then losing side. I may have to read that over again, but the gist is trading options basically just a way of swing trading.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I saw there's something from guaranteed, as nothing is guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, I also have months where I lose money. I don't always win, but for me, options are just an instrument where, at least for me, I'm more comfortable in using it and managing the risk, because I always see immediately, and when I trade spot, my risk management usually has to be something like, do I take the loss now or don't I take the loss? It's like 1 or 0, blue, black or white. With the options, there's more leeway. When I write an option, I see the price is going against me, and I can always see by looking at the delta of the option, for example, I need to, for example, in case I sold a call, I need to buy that much euro-dollar now. If I sold a call for, let's say, 500,000 euro, and my delta is like 100,000, then I can completely offset my risk at the moment by buying 100,000, so one lot of euro-dollar. And it's like a more dynamic risk management, in my opinion. The downside, of course, is if you're writing options, if you are correct with your opinion, your profit is limited. Your profit is limited to the premium you got for selling the option. So I understand both. I fully understand people that say, like, for my swing trading, I only want to do spot trading. I feel more comfortable with it. It's the easier instrument for sure. Also, for if you're a beginner, that is, of course, options also have its benefits and risks, of course. Maybe I should get more into spot trading again after talking to you guys. Kind of tickles my hands.
I get the feeling, whenever I talk to you, I get interested in options market. We talked a lot about this. We should get you on to explain options. Now, most of our traders, obviously, well, all of our traders are trading forex and Bitcoin and Ethereum now, but options to me is definitely very interesting. So I'm gonna look into it more and try to learn, because I like the idea of like, you don't have to have like that very specific entry, and it's more about time, and I can't quite like that.
More about time, not so much about timing. Yeah, this is what I like as well.
I want to show you guys quickly, just to drop over to my screen. I want to show you this pattern that I remember. We had a live stream last FOMC, right? No, not. Yeah, we had one in December, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I remember I talked about this. We had actually, I did take that setup. I take that setup live, and we had the same thing forming here. So I kind of want to show you the pattern that happened last FOMC and how we're getting almost the same thing happening here. So it's quite a messy chart, and I'm gonna remove this to make it a little bit cleaner.
Finally, we got a little bit of momentum, a little bit of movement. For the last week, we've had hardly anything. It's just been so choppy, ups and downs, and ATRs have just been such in a small area. And now suddenly, today, we've got a little bit more movement. But there you go, that's FOMC for you, and everybody's just trying to get in before, I guess.
Yeah, hopefully we can get Hopefully we can get something established here. I'd like to see a trend forming here on Euro USD, because I did have, when we saw this move, I did have a couple of good trades in December.
Did you enter the trade back then, by the way? Or?
Yeah, I did. I did.
Nice. Nice.
I closed it at the monthly open. So I'll show you this, right? So here, you can use the replay function. This is right here. We have that. Let me remove all of this. So that's the weekly open, and here's the monthly open. And I remember saying that if we get something like this, and we break here, we'll see a break of structure, and that FOMC meeting with the interest rate decision, if it's bullish for Euro USD, we're probably going to see a move up to that monthly open level. So the monthly open level aligns very nicely with resistance. So very simply, so you have that downtrend, break of structure, and then hit that monthly open. And that's the trade we entered. So we got in here, and it absolutely just pumped straight up to that monthly open level right there. So that's the last FOMC, I believe. Now if we go to the current price, we're seeing the same pattern forming here. So let's put on the indicator here. So here you see the current weekly open, and then above here you have the monthly open. So we have that downtrend, and I'm hoping we're going to see something like this, and then that would break the structure and potentially take us up to the monthly open. So it would be basically the same structure, the same like reclaim of monthly open up to that weekly. Reclaim the weekly open up to the monthly open, reclaim the weekly open up towards the monthly open. Now the move is a bit different because now you have the monthly open up here. So perhaps we're just going to come up and test, these levels right here. So here we had that trade, something like that. And then this trade today might look something like this. So it would be both trades around 2 hour, but it kind of similar structure here. So that's what I'm watching here today, and well, that's what I'm gonna be watching tonight. Hopefully, I'll be able to. Do
you trade the news?
Well, I can get in a position before if I so this one, for example, I got in like a couple of hours before the meeting or before the interest rate decision. So I got in before the interest rate decision, and basically just got lucky. But if you look at the overall structure, we had a pretty good bounce here on Euro USD. We did hit a high time frame support level right here. And usually what I remember, you remember like last week we had a coin flip trade where I said like we got news coming out, but we're hitting support. Yeah. And usually you have major news events coming out as support. You're most likely you're gonna bounce at that level if it's in an uptrend. And the same thing happened with Euro USD. It looks a bit different here though, but I would say that maybe we can put on some fibs here. It is right inside the reload zone. So
and interestingly enough, the daily ATR is also exactly at this level, 108.72.
Nice.
So that's a bounce I would maybe trade.
Yeah, that's nice. That's a nice little bit of confirmation. Or
yeah, so you can also look at this move right here. So from that fib to that fib. So you see price was inside the reload zone on this move, and it's inside the reload zone right now. So, and I think like it's all the same structure. And let's see if we get that move to the upside. Will I enter position? Probably not this time.
Oh, do it. Actually, I can't. Don't let me pressure you into the last trade.
All right, I got that.
Pressured you into the last trade. Look, do you use any order flow tools for Bitcoin or anything like that?
No, I do not.
You're on bigger time frames, I assure, so it doesn't really matter looking into the order flow.
Exactly. I might look into something like this on the rare occasion that I decide I want to try my luck in scalper markets. But as I said also before, I'm not good somehow at reading order flow, in my opinion. Never, if I want to put it in a simple way, I don't have the eye for that. And I mean, this is the way it is, you know. You kind of stick to your guns on what your eye is used to and what you know. Okay, this works for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let the audience decide. Okay, so I want you guys to comment. Do you think this is a trade I should take or not? And if you do have any, like, if you're watching USD as well and you have your own idea, maybe, you know, leave a comment. Yes, you know, take the long, and maybe why you're looking to why you think this is a good idea. So let me know in the comments, and if there's more yes than no, I'll just enter orders for this trade.
One thing that I like trading in Bitcoin is, especially because I used to look on order flow, especially on like the 5-minute time frame, when there was a lot more volatility, when it was less choppy, and it was especially when you see a certain level and price breaks through a level, and you can see on the order flow that suddenly people start going long on that level, and then suddenly it comes underneath the level, closes, and all of those people now trapped longs, and you just see the price just cascade to the other side of the range. And that's why I would use order flow, to see how many people are stuck on the other side, and then to take their other side when the price is going opposite. And that was a trade that I used to use for Bitcoin. I don't trade Bitcoin too much anymore on futures, but yeah, order flow is a good tool if you know how to use it.
I should too. So we need to do a trading session for me then on order flow in the future. I'll teach you guys options and you teach me order flow.
Oh God, more things to trade, you know, more things to trade.
I need additional screens here.
I'm going through the chat here, and we have someone saying, "Go for it." We got no, please don't. Yes, long. Yes, yes, no. All right, it seems like it's no. Yes.
Maybe
yes.
can I add something like to this
if it's
trade idea?
Only if it's something bullish, Dirk.
It kind of is, yeah.
Okay,
so
go for it.
what I like to do, actually, I mean, we have that move already now. What I like to do if I trade the news is, if the news is like, for example, bullish, in this case, like, let's say for euro dollar, what I like to do is I like to see if we break over the daily ATR, which we have already, and then trade the pullback. So what I would do is I would wait until we see a pullback here to the ATR and place my buy order there.
Okay, I'm gonna place orders. Thank you.
This is something I do when the news is released, not before the news is released.
Yeah. So I just discussed a strategy of mine where I'm trying to fade.
Just to tell everybody though, obviously Jonathan has probably disconnected all of his other accounts, so all of this is not going to go. This trade is not going to go onto his funded accounts or anything like that. So he's doing this risk with probably a lot small risk that he knows that if he loses it, it's not going to harm his account. So please don't do anything like this, especially asking the audience to go long or short. You know?
Yeah. So this is strictly for educational and informational entertainment. And I'm hopefully the only one who's going to lose money on this. So please don't follow. I think I'm risking maybe, you know, not sure how much, but so the live account I got on the Wanda is, I believe, like a 7K live account, and then I got that one connected to all my other accounts, including the funded account on the 5ers, and that one is disconnected right now. I would never, you know, risk taking a trade like this with a bigger, like, important funded account like the one I have here. So
that being said, sorry, Jonathan. That being said, it's a thought-out plan. To be fair, you've already seen that pattern before in the past, and things. It's not just a random bet.
Yeah, I mean, it's an idea that has, like, it's a valid idea. The thing is, it's not my system. So if I would trade this, I would have to go back and look at every interest rate decision and see if this pattern, if there's any edge in this at all. Yeah.
But it's an interesting setup, actually. I didn't see that before, and now that you mentioned earlier, I remember you saying exactly the same in December when we had the stream. Yeah.
And I think what's important here is I mean, when it aligns with the overall trend, it hits the reload zone. Now I'm just trying to justify this trade, but it is It is a decent trade. Now, what's interesting here is TP is here now. The monthly open level right here is untested, and when you have a monthly open level like that untested, a lot of times it gets tested when it's like at the top of an uptrend. So the uptrend is bullish. You have that monthly open above price. So it's actually a completely untested level right here. We broke down. We never. Whoa! My mic just fell. What the hell?
That's
Mic
the noise.
drop.
The big mic drop. He's out. Have you got? It sounds like you've got a guitar there. Have you got a guitar there?
Give me a second, guys. I gotta mute myself and get this fixed. All right, I gotta get a new boom arm. It completely broke, so I'm trying to hold it up here. Wow, that's crazy. Well, it's a bit old though, so maybe it's time to get a new one with the money I'm gonna make from this trade. Are you? Yeah. So Dirk, let's talk a little bit more about that strategy. You talk about where you're waiting for the move. Because one thing I talked about before you came on is how I'd like to look at the initial reaction, and then I'd like to fade that during the press conference.
Yeah, I mean that's what we see very often, right? Where we see like this first initial reaction being reversed like after 15 to 13 minutes very often, and yeah, that's why I said just now. So if I would consider trading this, I don't think we're going to have that big moves, by the way, tonight. What I really would do is I would wait for the initial reaction. Where is it going? Is it actually a positive? Is the result of the news, let me put it like this, better than expected? For example, for inflation, inflation is lower than expected, and we see risk on moves. Then I would really wait until we overshoot the ATR on the upside, and then place my limit order at the ATR directly, my limit buy order. If it's a bearish news, so the result is worse than expected, inflation came in higher than expected, for example, I could do the same to the downside. I wait until we break under the ATR and then place a sell order at the ATR. Euro dollar, a bad example for what I just said, of course. But for example, you could do it with an index CFD on the S&P 500. Let's say we can have a quick look actually where we have the ATRs on the S&P 500.
Yeah. While you check that out, a couple of questions about some of the programs for the 5ers. So yes, if you are looking to trade stocks, we do have our sister company Trade the Pool, which is a CFD equities trading company. So you can go to www.tradethepool.com and you can sign up to an evaluation with them. You've got enormous buying power. You've got, I think it's like 35,000 different stocks. You've got penny stocks. You've got ETFs. Honestly, if you're a trader like that, or you're from the US and you like trading, because I know a lot of US guys like trading equities, then that is the place to go. 5ers, obviously, you've got the main indices, you've got commodities, and obviously you've got the got forex, so majors and cross majors.
Yeah, that's amazing. I remember the live stream I had with Michael where he talked about Trader Pool, and honestly, just him talking about it got me very interested in trying it out and try stock trading. Honestly,
yeah, it moves a little bit like crypto, you know, very similar kind of movements.
You know, the only reason I didn't get into stocks was just whenever I open a chart, it's just the gaps is just killing me. Like it's killing me. But then Michael, like, and I never really looked into that. Like I feel like such a beginner trader when I look at the stock market, because apparently you're able to, like, so Michael, you said, like, well, first thing you can do is just imagine that there's price between in the gap, but then isn't there like software you can fill in the gap with candles or like pre-market and aftermarket or whatever sessions candles, right?
I'm sure you've got like there's charts on TradingView as well, that there's the continuation charts where you just like they cover all of the gaps, so you don't actually see the gaps at all. But I don't know that I don't know if this is a big thing, but a lot of people trade off the gaps. They expect that gaps close, especially on crypto. I always hear if they see a gap, CME gap or anything like that, a lot of traders are expecting that to close, so they start trading in that direction. I don't know if that has an impact on what price does, but
that's the thing about gaps, you know. I mean, usually they tend to close eventually, but it can move a lot against you first, and for a very long time until the gap closes. And very quickly here, so just wanted to visualize what I was talking about with the ATR. So this is the S&P 500, upper ATR at the moment at 4,933, lower ATR at around 4,870. So let's say by any chance tonight we see suddenly that the Fed is cutting interest rates. What we would have, of course, is a very bullish move in the S&P 500. So we would see it shooting up probably. So I would, if I would trade this, I would wait for it to shoot over the ATR and then place my buy order down here at the ATR. Because what we see very often is that the price comes back, tests the ATR, and then really takes off. So this is the way I would trade it, for example. On the other hand, what we, for example, would see, it's not going to happen, but interest rates are hiked even more. They raise the interest rates. You can play the same to the downside. Undershoot the ATR on the downside, place your short sell limit at the ATR. That works surprisingly often. However, also take it with a grain of salt. It's a strategy I do not use very often because usually I'm not much of a news trader.
Nice. Has anybody got any last questions for anybody here from Dirk or from Jonathan? Because we are going to wrap it up very soon. But before we do that, we are going to go and start the giveaway in a minute. So before we start going, everybody starts spamming and going crazy, getting all your questions so we can cover all of that. And then we'll start by going through what we're going to do for the giveaway.
Gold had some very interesting moves today. Yeah. And the JPY pairs, like the yen is moving like crazy. I don't know what's going on there.
We'll be on the wrong side of gold. Honestly, gold is a different beast.
I super much agree. Wow. Two assets I don't like to trade is gold and it's oil. I think I'm like the worst oil trader in the world. Every time I try something there, I lose money.
Yeah. I think oil is well, it's, I don't know, like it's trending nicely. I kind of like oil. I don't know.
Is oil quite a slow market? Is it quite a fast? Because I know gold, it's very fast, very volatile. If you're on the wrong side, you know pretty quickly. But I don't know. I've never traded gold. Never really looked at it as an asset to trade. What is it like?
When it's trending, it's trending very, very nicely. The problem is that it's not in those good looking trends very often. It's usually lots of wicks, just all over the place. But when it's trending, I love it.
Nice. Go on in. So let me set up the giveaway.
What are you giving away?
So
yeah, what are you giving away?
We are giving away, Dirk, how much do you know about proprietary trading, like the new form of proprietary trading and the 5ers and stuff like that? Do you know much about that side of trading?
I know that you can trade accounts with the 5ers, and if you're doing well within certain risk parameters, you can get funded, and then you'll get your profit share, I assume, from the profits you make.
Perfect. That's it. So, yeah, we basically fund traders. So everybody here, that if you're a trader and you can prove that you're a good trader, then we will fund you. And that's what we're going to do today. So for a lot of people that have stayed all the way to the end, we are going to be giving our bootcamp challenges, which are 3-stage challenges, normally for beginners. So people have to go through a 3-stage evaluation. Once they pass, then they've shown really then they can trade, and then we're more like, well, we're going to fund them obviously afterwards, because if you show you can get through 3 times, then you're going to get funded with us. But that is what we're going to do. So everybody put in 250K. That is actually not the word for the day. But Jonathan, how many likes have we got for today?
Oh, I don't know, man. Let me bring it up. I must say I'm very grateful and very happy for everyone who's tuning in here today. It's been a great live stream, and I like that we've also, we're focusing here on the education part, because that's what, dude, we have 900 likes.
Oh,
That's a lot of likes.
Wow.
900
Yeah, we
likes.
get
If
all-
we
we get-
close to 1,000, if we get close to 1,000, then we'll give 4 bootcamp 250Ks away. If we get to 1,000, you've got literally like 3 minutes. If it happens, then it happens. If not,
Yeah.
then we'll just give the three. The three
We almost have
bootcamps away.
500 people watching here now as well, so it's
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 people
awesome.
have stayed, and we got to get you on again. Obviously, we want to see what's
Would
going
love
on
to.
with Bitcoin. We want a little bit of the macro landscape, what's going on, especially after today with the interest rates and what everybody's going to say about that and how it's going to affect the market. So that's it. We're going to have to bring you on. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
you're going to have to do it.
Would love to. My pleasure. I'm very, very happy. If there's one thing in the world I like to do, it's talk about trading.
Yeah.
Right. It's
I tried to do that on dates though, and the dates it just doesn't work out when I start talking about trading. I just see like this blank look, just
Yeah,
like,
it's
oh,
like-
what do you do? I
So-
trade. It's,
Dirk is his YouTube channel is called The Good, the Bad, and the Bitcoin, and you can use Google The Good, the Bad, and the Bitcoin. He's on Twitter, X, and on YouTube, and he's making some really good content on there. So you need to go and check him out. I will also leave a comment
and
for
we'll
the
put
channel.
it in the description as well.
Yeah, there's
whack it
also
in the
going to be
description.
in the description, so you'll be able to find them. So give him a follow, and he's doing live streams as well. Are you going to go live tonight?
No, I'm not going to do live tonight because I would pressure myself in taking a trade then. So I
well,
probably
right, yeah.
I said to my daughter
Stay
already,
away.
Daddy's going to play tea time or whatever with you tonight, so
Yeah.
I don't look
Oh,
at my
that's
screens.
awesome. Well, family's first, man. Family's first, always.
So the word I'm going to put in right now, and we're going to see
Here
how
we
many
go.
people. It's actually good we're doing it this way because the people that actually stay for the end
Yeah.
of the stream, they actually are the ones that they're gonna be less entries because a lot of people have already left, and they're gonna have more chance to win. So it's actually a lot better this format, and that is the word, guys. I know it's original.
Oh wow!
So
that's,
so a
you
couple
got-
of people can win a funded account today.
Not a funded account. They can win an evaluation for free, so they can go through a challenge and show if they've got what it takes to get funded.
That is super awesome. Super awesome.
Well, that's why we're here. At the end of the day, it's we want to be the 5ers. The 5ers mission statement is really we want to be a part of everybody's trading journey, and that's from if you are a beginner trader going through the boot camp and you're just getting your foot through the door and you want to get a little bit of taste of what it's like to get funded, and then we can be at the end of your journey when you're a profitable trader and you want to go for the hyper growth programs and you're trading live from day one, and some of the accounts you get up to the millions pretty fast if you know how to trade well. So we've got everything for everyone.
Nice.
Look at it now. 230 people entered straight away. Wow. Gosh, man. Yo.
Okay, so let's see. So
I like this format much better though because it spams all at the end of the stream instead of
definitely.
much
And
better.
like we talked about this in the beginning. We said because we did have yesterday's live stream and the
Yesterday
one
was
on Monday
rushed.
was fantastic in a sense, but the chat was just going crazy, and like we want to really be able to do these giveaways while also providing you guys with educational content, really give you the information
Agreed.
that you need to really succeed. So I think that's going to be that has to be the main focus here, and that's why we're trying to do different things here.
I agree. I think yesterday, because we had the Twitter stuff and everything was so rushed, we didn't really get, because Gary Langley, Scruffy Trader, had so much value. And we didn't really get to give him the time and all the questions that people wanted to ask as well. Didn't get that time. But we're working, and we're glad for the feedback. For everybody with feedback is it's good.
So how long are we waiting?
We are going to give it let's give it until 5 past. So another 3 minutes.
Right.
And then I'll put it out. We've already got 300 in there. I'm sure people are just, putting it in multiple times thinking they're going to get double entries. But it doesn't work like that. So.
So I'm a bit worried over the Euro USD here because it's moving higher now,
Fast.
and if it breaks out here, I'll have to reconsider because we got the news coming out in 4 hours, and a lot can happen in 4 hours. So if you get the breakout and maybe close this 4-hour candle up here, then probably this might be the entry area, and then we might actually look at the monthly open as target. So
I don't really like fast
on
candles. Fast candles for me feels
on
dangerous.
15 minutes, it looks a bit toppish now, in my opinion. I think
it does.
we are going to see a pullback to what is that? 108.50 first.
Yeah, and you know
that
what?
could be a fantastic break retest kind of
and
kind of
look at what fib that is as well. It's going to be the 50%,
50,
right? Yeah, so it's going to be perfect. Right there is 108, 40,
and the top
47.
of the top of the range, maybe.
Yeah, and it's I got the weekly open as well. So yeah,
I
mean
would take that
could.
trade.
Yeah.
I'd probably take that trade.
Oh really?
Will I take that trade?
I don't know.
The vote is open.
I've done my trading today. I want to pass this 5ers account live on stream. So I don't want to.
Maybe you should flip a coin.
Flip a coin, the heads and tails, the secret strategy. This is actually how the 5ers trade. It's the secret strategy that now has been exposed. We actually trade by using online coin tossing software.
Well, the right risk management, maybe.
Let me sort this out.
Probably
Let's get ready. Let's get ready. Ready. I'll share my screen.
Flip a Bitcoin. I like that. You know what? I do have like a Bitcoin coin somewhere around here. Maybe that's what I should be doing.
Okay, there you go, guys. So get your last entries in 10 seconds because I'm about to start clicking the button. Yeah, I'm just gonna do the first draw. So we've got 3 going out today because we didn't get the 1,000, but 3 250k boot camps.
Welcome. Nice.
Malcolm. Oh, we got more entries, which is good. We get 400 entries. Okay. Does anybody want to try and pronounce the?
I like how you're only saying the names of the ones you can pronounce. This is obviously Neptic, right?
Neptic, you're right.
Neptic. Congratulations,
I'm just a simple English guy. I'm just a simple English guy from Birmingham. God, look at me now, huh? Okay. The last one, guys.
Oh, come on, let's do it. Maro.
Brilliant. Perfect.
Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Congratulations.
So, Maro, and you've got, I think it was Malcolm and Nepict. Yeah, you guys anyway. So the guys that have been picked today, what you need to do is you need to send me an email. So you can do it at alex@the5ers.com. Please, if you haven't won, please don't send me an email because I know everybody did that last time and I'm getting bombarded. So if you've won, only if you've won, send me an email to alex@the5ers.com. Send me a screenshot of your profile page for YouTube where it can see your email and the name of your profile. That is the only way that I'm going to be able to prove that it's you. And then the only way that I'm actually going to open up the account for you. So you 3, well done. Thank you for being part of the giveaway, and for everybody as well that stayed as well. I'll leave it to Jonathan to do the farewell, and obviously Dirk, we've got to have you on again, man.
Looking forward to it. And also congratulations to everybody. Nice. This is where your career starts today.
Yeah, that is exactly it. That is exactly the point. Yeah.
So I would like to thank you all for joining here today. And we have a question here for Phoenix Rise. When do you start promotions again? We start every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Every day here on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 8 Eastern time, I believe. We are going live, and we're doing these giveaways every day, every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday during the live trading sessions. So join us.
new trades, hopefully more profit. We'll see.
Well, you made some money today, though, so that's, you know, you made some money. And this, you know, obviously, yeah, obviously, this Euro USD is going to make me rich.
There you go.
And you know, because of the fact that I disabled the accounts, this is going to be a winner, right? All right, guys.
Thanks care.
Thanks for joining, everyone, and we will see you in the next one.
Jonathan's, you're closing it off, yeah?
Yeah.
Hi guys, so thank you very much for watching the video. Now make sure you like and subscribe, and most of all, go into the YouTube and check our other content